Welcome back. So this will be the case study. This is the starting image and this will be the output. As you can see, the mesh is not perfect. If I'm going to enable a texture, the model will look like this. But some of the elements over here are quite well defined. So for example, the mirrors are completely different. As you can see over here, they should be really narrow and thin. And within this concept, they are like this. But some of the details of the car will also be present. Also, if you notice, the ATV over here within the truck is missing. But if I'm gonna go back, this will be the second, let's say, reference image in this case. This was the reference image, and we see clearly over here the profile of that ATV in the back. But Generative AI actually transformed that into two motorcycles. So it also adds stairs over here within the middle. So really odd over here. But the overall proportions for this pickup truck are not that bad. Now, if I want to add this within CAD, especially within CATIA, I will need to make use of the STL file format. Within my previous video, I have shown you how you can also use the OBJ to import some of the elements as editable, but keep in mind that that will only work with low poly count. So in this case, more than 1,000 will be much more than CATIA can handle within Imagine a Shape. So I'm going to jump over here within Digital Shape Editor and I'm going to bring those model in so we can compare. And one of the most important thing over here, so I'm going to go over here within downloads, and this will be the first model. Keep in mind over here, the scale factor, this is currently set to CATIA to 1000 since the file unit will be millimeter. That means if I will load that initial car, the model will look like this. So within the viewport, this is not that bad. We can use this as a 3D reference, so we can go ahead and add various profiles within Generative Design in order to trace this. Now, if I will go to mesh information for this, we're gonna see that actually this will not be at scale, but since I scaled this up to 1000 times, we're gonna see that the dimension for the length will be close to 2 meters. So in this case, this car should be roughly close to 5.5 meters. So I will need to change that scale factor, or I can go ahead and I can scale that now because we also have the possibility to do transformation over here. So we have scaling, we can select it. So I will maybe increase this to 2.5. We can also need to define, let's say, a reference point, and after that, this will be the scaled mesh. Now, we can also go and work with this. If we want this to be a lot more wider, we can easily do that. But keep in mind that for that, you will need to go to Affinity, because Affinity will allow you to scale it only onto an axis. We see the Z-axis going like this. So just as an example, I'm going to go like this, and I will hit preview, and this is heavily, let's say, extended to be a lot more wide. In this case, we see that the proportions are completely off. But keep in mind that this is how you can work with generative AI models within CATIA V5. I'm going to load in the other model, which is the one with those ATVs in the back. So knowing hit 'em up and how that model was created, I'm going to scale this by 2500. I'm going to hit apply, and this should now be at, so as you can see, again, this had been loaded like this. So initially I thought that since that model had 1.8 meters, if I'm going to scale this directly, but in this case, this was actually a lot smaller. So this is one of the drawbacks of generative AI, is that those references will not be generated at their true scale. But you can easily do that within CATIA. You can define your boundaries. You can use either planes or sketches for that, and you can center that reference within those desired reference. So this is how I would approach this car concept, where we can start with a generative AI model, load it within CATIA, but it's really important to define it at the correct scale. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this kind of content. I'm gonna position a similar video over here on the left side, and I will also add a subscribe button to the right. So that's it. Thanks for watching.